Years after the war between the black and red ants in the first Minuscule film, Cox is now living happily with his family in a valley in southeastern France. They are harvesting assorted fruits to sustain them through the winter. One of Cox's offspring, Junior Cox, decides to venture out of his own, breaks away from the familial unit. He discovered a ripe apple on a mission to transport, undertaking the hard journey back to their tree-living residence. Cox's family was unaware of Junior Cox's departure. When they all visited Tree's residence, they observed Junior's absence. Accordingly, Cox rushes to locate his son. Junior Cox was carrying a weighty apple as he made his way homeward. Flies gang who survived due to their ability to come back from the afterlife get on his way. They hampered Junior's path, striking him and seizing his apple. However, Cox quickly intervened, initiates a chase through a vast valley. In the midst of all this, a spider was attentive within its own frozen web. Cox ingeniously devised an escape strategy to dodge the flies. The flies inadvertently struck the spider's web, causing both the flies and the web to descend to the ground. After their return, Cox and Junior with family settle in for the night, finding rest within a treehouse. Later that night, Cox's old friend Black Ant and his crew were on the hunt for winter provisions. Nearby, their archenemy Bator and his troop kept a vigilant eye on them. The Black Ant's leader stumbled upon a grocery store, where he first wiped away the dirt from the window and then peered through. Inside, he spotted the storekeeper enjoying marshmallow candy and also noticed a box of sugar. He used a whistle-like signal to gather the rest of the Black Ants. The Black Ants thrust the key that was inserted in the door's lock. Simultaneously, the storekeeper placed marshmallow candy inside the glass container and grabbed a flashlight and departed to investigate a sound. Unfortunately, he found nothing except a dog dining from a garbage just outside. During this brief moment of distraction, a cluster of black ants made their way into the store. The shopkeeper is engrossed in television, unaware that a team of black ants is discreetly relocating a wooden plank near the shelf containing the sugar boxes. The soldiers exert effort to slide a sugar box on a wooden board as the leader directs its descent onto the ground with caution. As the leader glances backward, they spot the red ants already present in the area, which fills them with frustration and anger. The leader of the black ants distracts the red ants group and then heads over to the shipping factory where humans are packing jars of chestnuts into boxes, each labeled for a different country. The Bator team quickly rushes to the scene. The black ant jumps onto a box, while the red ants chase each other in and out of the boxes. Numerous red ants enter the area through between the boxes using both the door and the ventilating fan opening. The black ant sends a signal using its antenna. Meanwhile, Cox, who is at home sleeping with his family, receives the signal and hurries to the scene. Junior Cox also wakes up from sleep and follows Cox. A black ant found itself trapped at the juncture of a power cord, and swiftly, red ants converge from both directions to capture. In the process, the power cord disconnected. The black ant skillfully leapt onto a suspended light fixture and glided until it clung to the edge. Cox arrived on the scene and attempted to apprehend the black ant, but just before Bator catches it Cox tugged from his end, but more red ants rallied to Bator's side. Their collective effort faltered, causing the light to sway. Eventually, it swung back and struck the red ants, creating a divide between the red ants and Cox. Junior Cox arrived at the scene, and as the hanging light swung, it inadvertently struck both Cox and Junior Cox. Subsequently, Junior Cox descended and landed on a nearby box. This particular box filled with items destined for Guadeloupe. The box was prepared for transportation. Cox carefully placed the black ant down and followed the loaded vehicle, enters inside. Cox talks to Junior, who then makes a noise from the Guadeloupe box, leading Cox to sit on it. A transport vehicle carrying items arrives at the airport. The driver places the boxes on a trolley and transports them inside. The doors are secured, accidentally leaving Cox outside. However, a cockroach comes to Cox's aid by leading them through a small hole in a pipeline into the airport. The boxes are loaded onto the airplane. As the aircraft prepares for takeoff and gains speed on the runway, the cockroach guides Cox toward the plane. Cox exerts significant effort but ultimately manages to fly and board the airplane. Following a long cargo plane journey to Guadeloupe, the boxes are then loaded onto a biplane to reach their island destination. Subsequently, they are moved to a pickup truck headed for a bar. Regrettably, Cox and Junior become separated when the truck encounters a speed bump. Cox tumbles onto the beach and loses consciousness. A man opens a box at the bar, then Junior Cox inside the box farts. Cox flies up and farts continues green gas, also he flies to a nearby forest. Cox gets to be conscious at shoreline, that a crab is watching him. He steps back, realizing he's on a beach and spots a sign warning about hazardous stinging caterpillars in French. At a particular spot, There's a man napping next to a girl engrossed in a book. Some crabs come and snatch the chicken fries on plate near the sleeping man. Meanwhile, man is dozing on a mat when a small caterpillar crawls slowly. The man involuntarily touches the caterpillar in his sleep, causing it to release a cloud of green gas. The man's back starts itching severely, and his face turns green due to an allergic reaction. He yells loudly and rushes towards the sea. Cox noticed a colony of Caribbean ants transporting coconut. He approached them and requested their assistance in relaying a message to friends to inform them of his whereabouts. The of a Caribbean ant message was transmitted to ants in different locations until it reached France, which eventually reached a friend of Cox. Black Ant inquired with a geography expert ant to pinpoint the exact location of the signal, which depicted an island in the Caribbean Sea. Subsequently, Black Ant responded to Cox in the Caribbean. The Black Ant goes to a sewage pipe, where he meets up with Cox's other friend, a small black spider. After Black Ant convinces Spider agrees to help. Both of them quickly run towards a small toy ship that is near the dollhouse. They change the model ship by taking off the sails and putting balloons instead. Then, they added electric motors at the back of the ship. After that, they started their journey towards Guadeloupe. Junior Cox is in a new environment and watching different bugs. To his surprise, he finds a bug that looks like a stick, and it scares him, so he runs away. As he runs away, he sees a centipede. But he becomes interested when he sees a berry on a plant made to catch flies. Curiosity got the best of him, so he leans on the plant and then gets caught in its traps. Junior attempts to escape, but in doing so, he purposely farts, causing the plant to feel dizziness and fall down, giving him the chance to get away. Afterward, he comes across a praying mantis that tries to put him in a trance by looking at him. Junior escapes by farting in the face of the mantis. While a hungry praying mantis was chasing Junior, it accidentally crashed into a branch and fell down. At the same time, Junior stumbled into a cave and got trapped in a web spun by a jumping spider. Inside the web, Junior found a fly, a caterpillar of the black swallowtail variety, and a black ladybug named Coco. Junior put in a lot of effort to escape from the web, but unfortunately, it became stuck. In another location at bar, Cox saw small green marks left behind by Junior's farts. These marks were followed to find the way Junior took to get to the forest. Junior is struggling to break free. Out of nowhere, a dangerous jumping spider appears and starts dancing around Junior. Cox intervened by throwing a rock on the spider, which causes it to fall and pull down the thread of its web, resulting in the web falling. Everyone falls unconscious on the ground. Cox notices that Junior is also unconscious. Cox saves a fly and a swallowtail caterpillar by taking them out of the spider cave with the help of Coco. Junior was still unconscious. After expressing their gratitude, the caterpillar and fly departed. Coco takes Cox to her colony's home in a palm tree near the beach where they settle down. The black ladybugs engage in a special ritual to Junior along with all his fellow residents to assist Junior in waking up. Cox continues to try and communicate with his friends with the Caribbean ants but get no response. In the sky, a spider and an ant are on a boat headed to the Caribbean. Abruptly, a strong windstorm hits, and a lightning bolt pops the boat bubbles, making it sink in the sea. Some water gets inside, and then a shark comes and eats the boat. The ant and the spider are surprised to find themselves trapped inside the shark's stomach with the boat. Junior wakes up with the help of divine intervention, and Coco, who is close by, starts to have romantic feelings for Junior. Cox is very surprised to see his son awake again. He reaches out gently to touch his child and feels very relieved. While they wait for their friends to join them, Junior and Coco grow closer and start a romantic relationship. Meanwhile, Black Spider and the ant are stuck inside the shark's stomach, brainstorming an escape plan. Then, the Black Spider switches on the music speakers and raises the volume. The loud music makes the shark uncomfortable, and it spits them out. After their escape, they start the boat and continue their journey toward their destination. Subsequently, the men arrive and begin the process of tearing down the homes where Cox and the black bugs occupied. A sizable bulldozer is brought in, along with various vehicles. Engineers are planning and surveys are conducted. Cox goes to observe the proceedings. It is revealed that a hotel named Caraiba will be constructed on the site. Cox recollects an incident involving a snowtail caterpillar are dangerous to humans on that beach. Following their conversation, he instructs his son to stay at home side and sets out to search for a snowtail caterpillar. Cox hurries through a creepy forest and meets the praying mantis again. The mantis puts Cox in a trance and catches him. Junior quickly comes and saves Cox from the mantis. The mantis continues to chase them as they run towards the ocean. 4 more praying mantises have joined, which makes the situation seem very serious. Out of nowhere, bubbles appear and show a boat with a black spider and an ant on it. Cox with Junior board the boat. The black spider sets off a firework at the back of the boat, and the smoke from it distracts the chasing mantises. This distraction helps the boat keep going smoothly. While they were on a boat, Cox explained to the ant and the black spider his idea to rescue the black bugs from people. He guided them to a place where the snowtail caterpillar resides. So, the boat keeps going into the trunk of a huge tree in the forest. Inside, it feels like a different world, with some areas that look like caves with twisty and curvy paths. The boat arrives at the snowtail caterpillar's kingdom. Cox steps out of the boat and approaches a group of very ugly snowtail caterpillars. One of the caterpillars, which he had previously rescued from a dancing spider cave, comes towards him. Cox tells why he came. Cox meets a big, very old, and wise leader. A black ladybug is in danger at a construction site. He learns about Cox using his antennae. Then he looks into Cox's memories and decides to help them. People in this location, and then an engineer arrives in a car. He steps out of the car and looks at something in his hand. It's a snowtail caterpillar. The man flicks the caterpillar away, and it ends up going where all their army are. Snowtail caterpillars release green gas that may make people have allergies. That's why the people on the island thought they were a big nuisance. As a result, Bartok industry scientists declared the place to be infested with caterpillars, posted a sign warning that this place is very unsafe. The black bugs are thanking Cox, one at a time, for successfully saving homes from human activity. Cox and Junior get ready to go. Here's another complicated situation. Coco and Junior both love each other and cannot be apart. The boat is flying in the sky, and the black bugs are shedding many tears. Coco is sad because she does not have anyone to spend time with. As the boat moves, Cox can't see that Junior is upset. He tells Junior to go to his girlfriend Coco. Cox feels sad about leaving his son. Junior comes across Coco and they both feel pleased. Cox goes to his house in a forest in France and sleeps next to his family while they are sleeping. The box that Bator and his group were trapped in is seen landing in a restaurant in Beijing, China. They are released and Bator starts planning how they can escape and seek revenge again on Cox and Mandible. This is how the story ends.